I really like this idea of the guy next door or the normal guy that, ends up in a situation like this. So I wanted to ask you first, how did you find this particular story?
It came to me as a script that Sylvester Stallone had adapted from a book by Chuck Dixon. There's a series of many of these books, and this is the first one in the series. And I just saw a great script for Jason, a great opportunity to work with him again. So it really started as a collaboration, and I think we ended up with a fantastic movie.
Yeah. And I want to talk about the fight action scenes because I really like that they are all extremely different and each scene occurs in a different environment. And I wanted to ask you about this. Now, how as a director did you manage to actually use each thing to work this environment and make it, completely different each time?
I mean, that's important, I think, is that, you don't want the action to become repetitive and you want to have a little bit of fun with it. And so every movie has its own action grammar, its own action language. And this one's no different. Now that I've worked with Jason and I understand his capability, he's incredibly capable as an actor. He's his own stuntman. He has a stunt double who just sort of sits there and reads magazines waiting for an opportunity that never comes. So it's Jason always pushes me to come up with just fun and new and different scenes.
And I really like that Jason usually has this particular. I have seen this in other movies, but I wanted to ask you personally. He's very sarcastic. I mean, I don't know if that's like his thing. Maybe he's like this in real life, and he tries to put this into the character sometimes. But we kind of see this sarcasm again in a Working Man. So I wanted to ask you about how did you work to actually put this tone, this particular tone that I really like in a movie?
I think part of it is just the British dry sense of humor. It's a very natural thing. But he's pretty funny.
Really?
And it takes a second to get his humor because he is very dry. Nothing gets past him. He is very funny. And a lot of times I'll throw lines at him or he'll try something on his own. So it's really a discovery and just an opportunity to have fun. But you have to have the humor. You got to have some punches and you got to have some jokes.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I completely agree. And I wanted to talk to you about, Jenny's character because she has this unusual role. I mean, she's not your damsel in distress, which I think is really, really lovely. And I wanted to ask you, how did you manage to work on the character with her?
Ariana is the perfect actor to play this role. She's very tough. She's a fighter. She knows karate. She knows how to ride horses. She really grew up in a strong environment. And who she is as a person is a lot like the character Jenny. She's has a sense of humor. She has a spirit. She never quits. It was a tough movie to shoot, and she showed up every day, just ready to fight. So part of what I wanted to do was to say to young women that you can be tough, you can fight back, you can have a strong spirit and get through difficulty. And I just didn't want to show another victim. I wanted to show a fighter.
Yeah, I agree. She's always active. She defends herself when she has to or when she can. Yeah, I love her character. And I have seen a lot of action movies where the action is actually quite shy in terms of blood, of what to show and what not to show. And I'm always like, okay, yeah, they're not showing us that. And here in this particular movie, we see a lot of blood. You're not afraid of showing that. So I wanted to ask you about this, and if it's something like sometimes hard to show in a movie in terms of the audience and so on.
I think the balance is important, but also the context. So if we like the character and they're good people, we probably don't want to see so much blood. But if they're despicable bad guys who we love to hate, then maybe it's okay.
And you know, why do you think that we, as well as an audience, we love these stories so much when it's not actually a superhero that we're watching, and it's actually this normal. Like, I always put this because Jason, he's a normal guy, but he's Jason. But when you have this normal guy on the surface, and we just empathize so much with this, what do you think that is?
It's because he's like our dad or our uncle or our neighbor.
Yeah.
There's something very honest about him. There's something very grounded. And I think we want to feel that there's people in our lives that can come help us if we get in trouble. And I think everybody has experienced loss or frustration or fear. And we all want that protector. We all want that person who can right our wrongs. And Jason feels like that person.
And there are also really nice one-liners that movie has, and I still remember to this day. Was there like a collaboration between you or Jace, well, the script in general? I mean, with Sylvester, I mean, how did you work on those one-liners to actually make them so memorable?
Some are in the script, but when I work with Jason, sometimes, we'll be on set, I'll have the camera, he's there, and I'll just throw the line at him. It just, I don't know where it comes from, well, I'm a writer, so that helps. And I'll
Of course.
say this, say that, say this. And trust me, for everyone that works in the film, I think we have 10 that didn't work.
And well, finally, to wrap up, I want to ask you about one particular fight scene, which is for me is very important to the narrative of the story, which is the first one when we actually see that he's not your regular working man, and he has that bucket full of, of things
Yeah,
from construction,
yeah.
which I think is such incredible. So I want to ask you about the choreography behind that particular scene.
I mean, it was important to show him using the environment, using the tools in
Yeah.
the environment. And when we came up with the scene, it's like, okay, well, he could throw nails, he can grab a pickaxe, he can grab cement. So it's a lot of fun to design it, but a lot of the work people don't see is we have to have props. We can't throw a real bag of cement at somebody. So just even, what is in this? What kind of dust in this? How do we do this safely? So it's a lot of research and a lot of hard work by a lot of people that goes into this, so it's just such a simple, fun moment on the screen, but so many people work so hard to make that happen.
Who are you? What are you?